Thank you for tuning into the RANT Experience. This episode is brought to you by our official merch store, ajsrantroom.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you get new uploads and live streams hot off the presses. New episodes of the RANT Experience drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now let's get into it. Now, when it comes to American politics, are we truly looking for America first? Or are we looking for blind loyalty? I ask that because there seems to be an unhealthy degree of tribalism going on all sides of the political sphere. And yes, I'm familiar with the left, the Democrats, liberalism, whatever you want to call it, because I'm from New York City, but that's not where my focus will be on this particular episode. As a conservative, as a registered Republican, as a man who voted for Donald Trump 3 times, there seems to be this unhealthy fascination with the man Donald Trump versus the person we hired. Now, let me explain. So often we treat politicians like we would treat our favorite singer or actor or sports figure. We idolize them. We put them on a pedestal. We revere their freakish gifts and abilities. And when it comes to any criticisms of them, whether warranted or not, we are almost charged with the unnecessary degree of defending them. Now that's fine, because it's very little you can say about Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, or Russell Wilson to me. But when it comes to politicians, I have to move differently. Yes, politicians can be famous, but they should not be treated like your favorite celebrities. It's kind of like my pastor, my spiritual advisors. There's a greater expectation there because they are responsible for so much more. So when it comes to Donald Trump, I'm often taken aback by the social and political ignorance that some of his supporters stand on. Gone are the days of celebrity apprentice Donald Trump, the real estate mogul Donald Trump, the media personality who did features in movies and music videos. Donald Trump is now the 47th president of these here United States, so how I approach discussing him must shift as well. It's one thing to admire his business and marketing abilities, but it is quite another to hire him to run the country of which I am a citizen. So yes, of course, my critiques of Trump will be harsher because I want him to win. Critiques of Trump should definitely be considered, especially from the people who voted for him. We, the people, should never be blindly loyal to any politician or political party. Whether Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, I don't care what title you want to slap on yourself. From the alderman all the way up to the president, you should have questions. And it's crazy that I should even find myself in a position where people will be upset that I critique Trump. Be mad. I'm the one being politically mature. I'm the one being smart about this. You're the one being a fan. And so today in our Politics Fix segment, we will be discussing Donald Trump's decision to freeze federal grants and funds to Harvard University. We will have an uncomfortable conversation about race, nepotism in regards to the Shedeur Sanders NFL draft debacle. We have some awesome music nostalgia in our Turntable Rewind segment. I will also give my review of the movie Sinners. Oh yeah, your boy was outside this weekend. Now it's time for a Politics Fix. Now, are we the United States of America or the United States of Israel? I'm asking this question of President Trump because I'm trying to comprehend this fine line between federal government overreach and responsible regulation. Follow me. So the Trump administration has froze more than $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard University. This came after the university rejected a list of demands from the Trump administration that they said was designed to curb diversity initiatives and fight antisemitism. Now, I understand how this is being toted around as some sort of anti-DEI initiative, but I'm giving it a bit of side-eye because why does the anti-Semitism piece need to be in there? Now, the university has compromised and accepted the working definition of anti-Semitism according to the IHRA. So I went to the International Holocaust Remembrance website and read their working definition. So there are 11 main points. The first being calling for, aiding, or justifying the killing or harming of Jews in the name of a radical ideology or an extremist view of religion. Okay, we don't disagree with that. But isn't that already covered by our laws? I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as collective, such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. So you just want us to roll over and play dumb. Got it. You know what this reminds me of? It's like blacks who protect criminality, right? You have these people who are clearly doing bad things. No one's saying all Jews. But when you don't call out the ones who are doing the bad stuff, it makes you look complicit. I hope that makes sense. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, or even for acts committed by non-Jews. Okay, so this goes back to the point that I just made. This goes right back to, okay, if you protect your criminals, if you protect the people who are doing bad, and you don't call them out yourself, and we don't see y'all doing that, then you look just as guilty as they are. It looks like you're covering it up. You're covering for them. So you can deny all you want, but if you're not calling it out, then that's the real problem here. Yes, it's boneheaded for people to say all Jewish people. That's like saying all black people. When people are pointing out what they're experiencing and why they believe some things are being perpetuated, and you don't push back on the actual issue, but you try to gaslight people into thinking that you're being generalized for no reason, therein lies your problem. All right, let's move on. Denying the fact, scope, mechanisms, ergo gas chambers, or intentionality of the genocide of the Jewish people at the hands of National Socialist Germany and its supporters and accomplices during World War II, the Holocaust. Okay, the issue I'm having here is this is where you dance on free speech a little bit. The government cannot tell me I can't talk about something. This is America. This is literally detailed in the First Amendment of our Constitution. Now, you don't have to like it, but if someone wants to refute the information and they want to provide facts and evidence or some information from another source, then they have the right to do that in this nation. The government can't shut you down because they don't like what you're saying. Accusing the Jews as a people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. Again, this dances on the First Amendment. I'm not comfortable with this at all. Great, this could be a definition of anti-Semitism, a working definition, whatever you want to call it. But then to impose it on us through the federal government, who then tells you that you have to follow these rules, and if you don't, we'll withhold your funding, that's a big constitutional no-no in my opinion. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nations. This is absolutely absurd. Okay, I get it, understand it. If you want to work this into your definition of being anti-Semitic, that's fine. But again, when you start dancing with the federal government on this, you're dealing with a whole nother beast. There are millions of Americans who are more loyal to nations outside of this country. Will it then be illegal for us to say that too? This is a slippery slope, y'all. Denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, ergo by claiming that the existence of the state of Israel is a racist endeavor. So Americans can't say that Jews are loyal to Israel, but the next bullet point forces me to accept your loyalty. You know what? I'm just moving on. Applying double standards by requiring of it a behavior not expected or demanded of any other democratic nation. You know what this reminds me of? Like, say the CEO of the company or one of the head honchos hires like their daughter to work at the company, and then the daughter is like, "Well, I don't want any special treatment." And then, like, as soon as there's like any kerfuffle, she runs right to her daddy. Using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism, ergo claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel to characterize Israel or Israelis. So, telling the truth, as told in the Bible, can't be told because it hurts your feelings. Christ is King. Drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. Holding Jews collectively responsible for the actions of the state of Israel. As I said before we started reading this and during, I don't care what you want to define or whatever you want to work on, that's fine. But when you escalate it to our federal government and through reasons unexplained to the citizens, you ask the federal government to impose this definition of anti-Semitism onto the citizens, or else that's where you lose me. It's unconstitutional, and trying to sell it under the guise of anti-DEI and anti-wokeness is absurd, and will go over the head of the average citizen who's not paying attention. So no, Donald Trump, I do not agree with this. And I cannot believe I'm on here siding with Harvard. And I know there are those who say, well, they're accepting federal monies, they got to go along with the rules. But what happens when Donald Trump is no longer in office? What does that say for the future? Because we all know the pendulum will swing back the other way one day. And so what happens if, say, God forbid, they decide, okay, well, if you want these federal funds, you have to get rid of conservative groups and conservative messaging and all of that. Like, it's literally a big risk. And as an American, the federal government can't tell me what I can and can't challenge. If I want to debate the dissent on the Holocaust, I have every right to. If someone wants to critique Israel, they have the right to. If someone believes that the state of Israel is racist, they have the right to say it, without retribution from the federal government. Now, if folks go over to Israel, they know to respect their rules and regulations and their laws. But get that dog mess out of the United States, bro. I say this all the time. People think that hate speech is a real thing. No, there's speech you hate. There's speech I hate. There's things that people say that I think are the dumbest things ever. But I'm never going to petition the federal government to stop them from saying it, because then that compromises me at some point and is an absolute violation of the First Amendment.
So what happened on this day in American history?
In 1758, the 5th president of these here United States, James Monroe, was born. And in 2004, American television network CBS broadcast photographs depicting harsh treatments of Iraqi inmates at the Abu Ghraib prison in the U.S.-occupied Iraq, initiating a national debate on torture and the Geneva Conventions. And on this day in 1967, boxing champion Muhammad Ali refuses to be inducted into the U.S. Army and is immediately stripped of his heavyweight title. Ali, a Muslim, cited religious reasons for his decision to forego military service. His subsequent conviction was eventually overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. And now, are we ready for an uncomfortable conversation?
It's always lit over at ajsrantroom.com. We got the best bags and accessories, our beloved Black Series. We got fresh lids for you hat lovers, fire jackets and hoodies, and of course we got you covered on the t-shirts. And introducing our first shoe line, Aloysius Germain. So get on over to ajsrantroom.com today and get to shopping. You won't be disappointed.
The NFL draft commenced last week. 7 rounds and 257 young men's lives were changed forever, as 32 teams selected the best players to begin their professional football careers on their rosters. One controversy that attempted to overshadow this great event was that of Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback who played 2 seasons at Jackson State in Mississippi before transferring to the University of Colorado. Shedeur is the son of NFL legend and Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, and it should be noted that Shedeur was coached by his father on both college teams. Now, I often say that I'm all for nepotism when it's done right. If your child or a friend or a family member has a talent and you have the means and access to get them in the door, by all means, make it happen. I will never hate on people who have talent and connections, but the problem I'm having here, it's not that Shedeur is an average quarterback with connections, or that he's even flashy, or seemingly overconfident. It's the fact that many felt that he was entitled to be a high draft pick, in spite of all of those attributes. And many commentators, including Stephen A. Smith, theorized that because Shedeur slipped all the way down to the 5th round, that race somehow played a factor in it. Wade in the water. Listen, this racism dog mess is tired. Shedeur landed exactly where he was supposed to. He isn't this otherworldly talent like his father was. He is the epitome of nepotism. Now let's be for real. Would someone with his skill set, without the connections, be where he is right now? Let's keep it a buck. We all know the answer is no. Now hear me out, y'all. Deion Sanders can be described by some as a helicopter dad. You don't think that was a factor when the 32 franchises were negotiating their picks? Deion Sanders said on Tamron Hall that he would interject if the wrong team drafted his son. Now I get imparting your wisdom and advice, but some things should just not be said in public. You don't think scouts took that into consideration? Deion Sanders has called out coaches who described his son as arrogant. Now I get wanting to protect your seed, but you don't think owners took notes? Let's be all the way for real here. This boy showed up iced out, decked out, looking like his daddy in his heyday with half his daddy's talent. And I say this often, that your talent should never be outshined by your antics. So when you take in all of those factors, that's why you have a 5th round draft pick on your hands. And spare me the race stuff and the Colin Kaepernick babble. This isn't a race issue. Most of the National Football League is comprised of black men. So how could this even be a race issue? Because he's privileged and black? That ain't it. This notion that somehow racism reared its ugly head when a mid-quarterback who just happened to be born to an NFL great puffs his chest up in the name of entitlement, and everyone was supposed to just ignore it and give him what he wanted. A pastor once said to me, there's humble and then there's humble, meaning you are full of shh. Now, I'm not saying he's not humble, but he's definitely performative humble because people can see right through that fakery. I'm not saying he's not grateful for the opportunities he has access to, but when you set it all up like you're entitled to something, that's when you lose me. Shedeur Sanders getting drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round is how it was supposed to happen. And quite frankly, I hope the brother goes on to have a long and amazing career in the NFL, but this racism babble is for the birds. There is a fine line between arrogance and humility. And if you're trying to win over people to hire you for a job, you might want to err on the side of humility because on the greater scale, no billionaire owner wants to deal with a spoiled brat with average talent. The business of racism is still open for business. And in the year 2025, it's a low IQ, reductive, low-hanging fruit argument. Accountability is a lost art, and it needs to be found. And this is our Turntable Rewind. So let's rewind back to the time. The year is 2004, and these are the top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. Rolling in at number 10 is My Band by D12 and Eminem. Based on this image, I don't even want to hear this song. I don't know this song. I don't care to know this song. Do you? I don't. Coming in at number 9 is the legend himself, Jay-Z with Dirt Off Your Shoulder. The Alicia Keys classic, If I Ain't Got You, hits at number 8. Now, this is definitely a 2004 joint. One Call Away by Chingy comes in at number 7. I love to love you, baby. Naughty Girl by Beyonce in at number 6. At number 5, we got Maroon 5 with This Love. This love has taken its toll on me. Now let it burn. And number 4 is Usher. Rolling in at number 3 is Tipsy by Jaquan. Rolling in at number 2 is one of my favorite R&B records ever. I don't care what you say about Diddy, but I Don't Want to Know by Mario Winans is a certified classic. And the number 1 song on this day in 2004 was, ooh, Take That and Rewind It Back. Usher got the voice that make that booty go, ah! It's Usher featuring Lil Jon and Ludacris with Yeah. And the number 1 album on this day in these here United States on the Billboard 200 was Confessions by Usher. Definitely an iconic album, definitely a no-skip album. Takes me right back to simpler times. Also on April 28th, 22 years ago, 2003, U.S. technology company Apple Inc. broke new ground in the music industry by launching the iTunes Store, the first legally authorized download platform for buying music. The store was established after the company reached an agreement with all 5 major record companies to market their catalogs. And by February 2010, the iTunes Store was the largest music vendor in the world. Now, at first, it was only available to Mac users, and a download cost 99 cents without subscription. Apple also offered groundbreaking personal use rights, burning them CDs for your homies. Oh, it was all legal, bro. We could legit burn an unlimited amount of songs on the CDs for personal use and playing songs on up to 3 Macintosh computers. Not Macintosh. On this day, Ed Sheeran sang and played guitar to a New York jury at a civil trial that would decide whether he copied Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. For roughly an hour, Sheeran described his entire musical career and performed parts of the song in question, thinking out loud. Heirs of Gaye's co-writer were claiming that he stole elements of the chart-topping hit. Sheeran later won the case. Moving on, I saw the movie Sinners this past weekend, and I really don't know where to put this review because it doesn't really fit in any of these segments, so I figured I'd put it in the Turntable Rewinds. This is more of the arts and entertainment section, and I just want to say, as a Christian, I get it. As an artist, I get it. And as a Christian, do I recommend this movie for other Christians? Absolutely not. Now, sometimes I get conflicted with the two worlds, but, I'm an artist. I'm a Christian. I get conflicted with the two worlds sometimes, but they're no longer mutually exclusive for me. So the days where I could justify partaking in a piece of art that goes against my moral compass are pretty much over. But I'm a human being, and I make mistakes sometimes. And a mistake I made this weekend was going to see this film. Here I am. I'm covered in the blood of Christ. I'm going to be all right. I can do this. I can watch a film, right? I can watch a film, right? Your eyes and your ears are portals. And the devil will tempt you with beautiful artistry, photography, cinematography, acting, directing. All of it was great. No one's taken away from anybody's contribution in terms of their talent level, their skill set, or any of that. But when I got home from seeing the movie, I got really tired and I ended up going to bed at like 7:30 at night. I never go to bed at 7:30 at night. And I have a podcast to produce. Saturday and Sunday are my production days for the Monday show. And I'm sitting here going to bed. I went to bed last night. Didn't even think about it. Woke up, realized it was a spiritual attack from watching this movie. Realized that I was literally drained from sitting in that movie, fighting between enjoying the devil and being true to my faith. This movie mocked Christianity, made a voodoo priestess the voice of reason. So save your money, your time, your effort, your spirituality. Stay locked into Jesus and stay away from movies like this. Now, some people are stronger than others, and y'all grown folks, and y'all gonna do what y'all want, but you can't say that nobody didn't warn you. And now it's time for an AJ throwback. All right, so this was my first time skydiving. This was upstate New York. This was, 2000. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. 2010, 2009. I don't know. Something like that. It was fun. It was scary. I hated the free fall. But once we were done with the free fall and the second chute opened and we were just gliding and you could just see everything. And he was like, open up your arms. And then he was like, give the thumbs up. He was, all these stupid instructions. But it was fun. It was amazing. And I was happy to be back on the ground. But that rickety plane, yeah, it was so rickety that you probably wanted to jump out of it. And so I recommend skydiving at least once in your life. Just have an adventure. Go on. Go ahead, honey. Take a chance. And now for the crazy, the zany, those who want to be internet famous, we give them attention here. And this segment is called Leave Me Alone.
Don't just leave me alone.
Gang. Bitch, I leukemia. I got shot when I was 16.
This nigga did every music video trope in 15 seconds.
It doesn't feel like me. I look like a man in a dress.
Well, no fucking shit.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that? Bitch,
Okay, I am confused, people. I know the 2028 Olympics is, they added pickleball, flag football, but is Lady Dude, Spider Bitch, fence climbing gonna be in the Olympics also? Because this is incredible. That takes training, that is talent. You know how strong you gotta be to scale a 14-foot high fence, twerk at the top, in some high heel boots. Okay, I mean, there's some of the most talented athletes in the world can't go left to right 14 foot high, 2.5 seconds. Look at the strength. That is knees, toes, fingers. I mean, come on now. Tell me that's not Olympic worthy. And look at this landing. Boom. Okay, Simone Biles would be impressed with that landing. And look at this, Lady Dude, Spider Bitch. Look, I mean, do you understand how strong you gotta be to do this? I've jumped a fence or two in my life. You know, I'm from the hood, but watch this landing. Watch this landing. Watch this. Boom, balls out under the skirt. I give that a 10.
Now it's time for some shout outs. Shout out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for always holding me down, especially this weekend when I decided to go see a horror movie knowing I had no business being there. Shout out to my Rant fam, always holding me down. I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to my Trifecta Hour fam. And make sure you guys go and support the sponsor of this video, ajsrantroom.com. To some of you, this is just another podcast, but to me, this is the next chapter in my purpose, and I thank you for lending me some of your time. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to give me a few moments of your time, and for that, I'm grateful. And with that said, I'm out.